Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today I'm back with my good buddies at Courtesy Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram in Tampa. And for those of you guys that follow my channel fairly regularly, you may have noticed I just put out a video from this exact dealership on the Chrysler 300C, a truly amazing car, a great swan song for the Chrysler 300. But while I was here filming, I noticed that they had another car that I wanted to talk about, and today that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to look at a Grand Wagoneer, and it's not so much me reviewing the Grand Wagoneer, but it's the engine in the Grand Wagoneer that I wanted to talk about today. So we'll talk more about this. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. You can do that over here in the corner, and off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Today's video is being sponsored by my friends at Carlock, and the truth is, vehicle theft is completely out of control right now. In the US alone, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds. And if you drive a high-end Mopar, like a Hellcat or a Scat Pack, your vehicle is 12 times more likely to be stolen than a normal car. Well, Carlock offers a little peace of mind, and it's pretty easy to use. You simply take the device, you plug it into your vehicle's OBD port, download their app, and you are off and running. And they have additional ways to conceal this. They have an extender to kind of hide it up under the dash, or you can get a power adapter and connect it directly to your vehicle's battery. And it does a lot more than just keep your vehicle's location. It actually will send alerts to your phone. For example, if the device is tampered with or it senses vibration, it sends an alert to your phone. Also, when your engine is started, it lets you know via a notification. And if the car is moving, it will also send you a notification for that. And for a limited time, if you use my code RacerXCL10, they will give you 10% off of your Carlock device and give you a 2-week free trial subscription. So definitely peace of mind in a chaotic world. You can order this directly off of Amazon, or you can check out the link below in the description. And on we go with the video. And here is the vehicle that I wanted to show you today, and it is pretty darn special. Now, if you follow the Jeep lineup, you realize you have the Wagoneer, and then you have the Grand Wagoneer, and there's like 10 different trim levels. There's a bunch of them, which I'll explain to you, but this is the bad daddy of all of them. Not only is that a Grand Wagoneer, but it is a Grand Wagoneer Series 3 featuring the Hurricane twin turbo that is brand new for the Mopar lineup. It is pretty darn awesome. So let's take a closer look at this Hurricane engine in the flesh. I showed it to you first at SEMA. No mistaking the fact that it is in fact a twin turbo inline 6. You can actually see both the turbos sitting right in here if you look carefully. There's actually a fair amount of room under the hood of this particular vehicle for this engine. It really doesn't take up all that much room. It's interesting, like when you compare this to say like a Hellcat, how much bigger the Hellcat engine really is. But this thing actually makes torque very, very quickly. 510 horsepower, and this is actually a little bit watered down from what it could be, and 500 pound-feet of torque, and it actually gets there at very low RPM. So this engine is very torquey and very capable. But I just wanted to give you a quick look at the Hurricane engine before we even drive it. The Series 3 Grand Wagoneer is absolutely cram-packed full of technology and luxury, and it's a little bit understated on the outside, at least for somebody like me. You can see the big 22-inch wheels on this car. It is unmistakably a Wagoneer. Of course, on the side here, you do get the Wagoneer wheels, and then of course, right there, Grand Wagoneer. It also says that on the back. You can see the running boards kind of come out when you get close to it with the key in your pockets. And right back here, once again, unmistakably a Grand Wagoneer. Like I said, this car is pretty understated from the outside to me, but wait till you see the inside of it. I don't even really know where to start with an interior that's this nice, but I wanted to spend just a little bit of time on it. Once again, Grand Wagoneer, you'll see those all over this particular car. Check out the wood grain right in here. I mean, it just feels luxurious. Everything about this thing feels luxurious. You get the contrast stitching right here. Take a look at the window and door controls in this thing. I mean, just everything feels very upgraded. You get a nice digital display right here for all your gauges, but then you also get a really big digital display here. You get another one down here, so your audio, your temperature controls, all of that. You get a really nice digital display there. Once again, there's your Grand Wagoneer. You even get a digital display over there on the far side. You can't see it because I don't have the car on, but I will show you that. You get a cooler right here in the middle, all the wood grain on the top. I mean, if you want to cool your drinks off, you can literally do that right there. I really do love these seats. They're unbelievably comfortable and they just feel very luxurious. These things will even massage you. How cool is that? And it even gets better when you get back here. Take a look. You kind of get the shades here. Once again, wood grain. More TVs in the back of this. There's the remote actually right there in the middle, but everything is done digitally. See all these digital displays you have over there on the far side, another TV, a massive third row in the back of this. The third row is actually very roomy, and you even have room for luggage there in the back. You can see how far the sunroof stretches back. Everything about this thing, good gracious, it is so incredibly nice. I wanted to give you a real quick look at what the inside of this car looks like from the driver's seat. And man, what a nice place to sit. Incredibly luxurious interior on this Series 3 Wagoneer. You can see how much room you have in the back of this car, all the wood grain, all the digital displays in this. There's one over there in front of the passenger. You've got two right here. You've got a bunch in the back. And then, of course, really nice display here as well. Flat bottom steering wheel. I mean, I can go on and on about all the features of this. That's not really what this is all about. I just wanted to drive this Hurricane engine and see how it performs. But I mean, just take a look at this really quick. You can see all the features that this has on it, all the different things the seats do. You can get massages while you're driving. Just a lot of functionality in this particular thing. You can change your drive modes right here, of course, rock, sand and mud. You can go snow, auto, or sport. So we'll definitely can change that up. Now your ride height, you can change that right over here. And like I said, I could probably spend an hour just going over the features of this particular car, your heated and cooled seats, all that good stuff, your climate controls. You can control that all from over here. And it is pretty cool that even your passenger has a display over there in front of them. Your passengers in the rear also get the TVs and all that good stuff. And there's probably a million things that I'm missing, but I really wanted to take this car down the road. I wanted to take just a hot second and explain the different engines and trim levels in both the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer, because it can get really confusing. So I actually had to do my homework and write it all down so that I could articulate it the right way. So in the Wagoneer, which is kind of the series below this one, you have the 5.7 liter Hemi, 392 horsepower. That is what you get in the base Jeep Wagoneer. And then when you step up to the Series 2, you get the 3 liter twin turbo Hurricane, but it's not the same one that is in this one. It is actually the standard output Hurricane, 420 horsepower, and the tow rating on that, 6,130 pounds. It's actually the exact same engine they put in both the Carbide, which is the next one up, and the Series 3. So you can see how many different trim levels they have, plus they have the Wagoneer L. So 5 total different trim levels in the Wagoneer. All of them get the standard output, 420 horsepower inline 3 liter twin turbo Hurricane. And then the same thing with the L. Now, when you jump up to the Grand Wagoneer, like what I'm sitting in now, the standard Grand Wagoneer gets the naturally aspirated 6.4 liter. Mind you, this is for the 2023 model year, 471 horsepower. It tows 8,260 pounds. And when you jump up to the Series 2, which is the nicer one, you get the Hurricane, the 3 liter twin turbo inline 6, like what's in this car, 510 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. And then of course you have the Obsidian, which is the next level up, same exact engine. And of course the Series 3, that is exactly what we're sitting in right now, same exact engine, 510 horsepower Hurricane. And then of course you have the Wagoneer, I'm sorry, the Grand Wagoneer L as well. So that makes 10 total trim levels in the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer. And that, like I said, could be really confusing. Now, the one thing that stood out to me is when you go up to the 3 liter, the high output, 510 horsepower, you know, this engine, 9,750 pounds is the towing on this. So not only is it more capable than the 6.4 and the 5.7, it's even more capable than the 3 liter standard output one as well. So this is a very capable engine. First off, as I start to drive the Grand Wagoneer around, I will say this engine feels very capable and very punchy. I'm just cruising down the road at 40 miles an hour and just giving it a little bit of gas. You can feel those turbos, how quick they spool up. That is unbelievably quick. A lot faster than what I thought was going to happen with this. And this is a really heavy, just big, luxurious SUV. There's no getting around it. This is not light. And this Hurricane makes short work of getting this thing down the road really quick. You actually kind of get a thump of power, where the Hemi felt pretty linear. Yeah, it had a whole bunch of torque as well down low. I will say the actual pull on this is maybe a little bit harder, but it is kind of hard to compare it because this is a big, heavy SUV. But I'm actually really impressed. The initial torque hit may be slightly softer than, say, like a 392, even though this makes a little bit more power. As I mentioned, this thing's kind of watered down, but the actual pull of the vehicle is even more firm than what you would get on a 6.4 liter Hemi, and it is noticeable. I was just driving this thing around. Now, it definitely does not sound like a V8. So I know that's one of the big drawbacks. Everybody hates the fact it doesn't sound like a V8. The sound coming out of the back of this car is not bad. I don't hate it. But yeah, it doesn't sound like a big burbly Hemi, and that's understandable because it simply isn't. And the thing is, with turbo engines are typically a little bit more quiet anyway. I mean, you're talking to somebody who has twin 64s on his Coyote. But when you're just at low RPMs like this, just cruising around in the lap of luxury, a very nice place to sit. This turbo engine absolutely has a bunch of thump to it. It's got a nice little straightaway. I'm not going to go super crazy with it. See, it's kind of spool, and here comes all the power. There's no mistaking the fact that this is a twin turbo engine. Man, this is not a slow vehicle whatsoever. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. It is very surprising. I would encourage you guys that are not excited about the Hurricane at all to maybe go drive one of these Grand Wagoneers if you can get a hold of them. I know they're not that easy to get a hold of, but this thing feels really impressive. I was actually really impressed with the Hurricane 4 in the Hornet when I drove it. I thought, well, this thing, there's no way it only makes like 263 horsepower. It feels way faster than that. Of course, it's way up on torque. This thing takes just a minute for the power to come in. It's a completely different driving experience. But when the power comes in with these turbos doing what they do, this thing really moves. So here's my big take with the Hurricane, and I've mentioned this many times in the past. It's turbo engines. Anybody that's ever worked on, you know, the BMW turbos, the Porsches, all that kind of stuff, you realize how incredibly capable they are when they're tuned. And that is really the one big thing between the Hurricane engine and the Hemis, the naturally aspirated Hemis, especially because they don't really like boost, and it's kind of hard to add power to those cars. I mean, you can throw intakes at them and exhaust and headers and a tune and E85, all that. They just don't really respond to those mods all that well. Yes, you will gain a little bit of power, but in something like this, where all you do is tune the thing, it can pick up gobs of power. And that is pretty cool to think about. I'm talking about just keeping the stock turbos, all that kind of stuff on it. I mean, like I said, the guys that have been doing this a long time with different brands, they know all about that. But man, I could just think about all the power that they could throw into this with just a tune. And boy, it would be very, very formidable. And I've said this at length. I feel like the Hurricane is going to go into a new breed of Challenger. It may be a Cuda, whatever it is, but I don't think Dodge is going to fully abandon the two-door segment. And if you think about the Hurricane lineup, you have the Hurricane 4, which is what we have in the Hornet, as I mentioned. If you're talking about a base level, say, new Challenger for 2024, completely redesigned, what a perfect engine for that, especially if this new car, which I feel like they're going to have, they haven't said anything about it, but I feel like that is the new thing that they're going to come out with the Hurricane series of engines, and it's going to be incredibly fast, a lot faster than the current generation of both Charger and Challenger. And then think about it, if you have a standard output Hurricane in this putting out 420 horsepower, then you have a high output putting 520 horsepower, and I'm told this engine isn't even stretching its legs at all. It's a fully built engine, dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder. I mean, it almost resembles more like a Coyote. Yes, it's an inline 6, so it's not a V6, but I mean, there are a lot of really good things about this particular engine. It is a tuner's dream, this particular Hurricane engine. And if you think about maybe an 800 or 850 horsepower offering of the same Hurricane in a lighter, more modern Challenger, we're talking about something that is unbelievably formidable. Even in this car, as I mentioned, this thing feels fast with the Hurricane in it. Imagine if it weighed half of this in something a lot more modern. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I realize some of you guys are probably wondering, well, how much does that thing cost? Well, as I mentioned, this is the bad daddy of the entire Grand Wagoneer lineup. And yeah, it's not cheap. It's like 115 grand for the one I'm sitting in right now. And of course, it tapers down with all those different trim levels like I talked about. So you can actually bring the price way, way down. But then again, you don't get as many features as you would expect. But just driving this around town, I will fully admit, I would rock the ever-living crap out of this. It has all sorts of power when you want it and all sorts of luxury. I mean, you could put kids in the back of this, they can watch their own TVs, and I mean, everybody can be doing their own thing. I can put my soft drink right here in the cooler. I mean, I can't say anything bad about this particular thing. And as much as I don't want to like the Hurricane, the V8 purist in me wants to hate it. It is just incredibly capable. And now that I'm getting to drive it, I really see why Dodge is so excited about this. And as I mentioned, we know why the Hemi's going away. I put a video out about it, and they're doing their best with it. But this is a great engine. Here I come again, just one little bitty coming out of the corner in a big, huge SUV. And listen, oh my gosh, feel the power come on. Oh man, it feels like this thing makes way more than 510 horsepower. Well, I guess I should probably head back and give the guys at Courtesy Dodge their beautiful Grand Wagoneer back. I'm really enjoying driving this. I would rock this thing every day if I could, but like I said, the sticker price is up there on this, so that's probably not in my wheelhouse, but there are a lot of people whose it is, and I think they'll be pleasantly surprised with this Hurricane engine, everything it's capable of, all the different settings this car has in it, all that good stuff. And in the back of my mind, as I mentioned, I really want to see this go into a more modern, lighter Challenger or Cuda, and I think it will really surprise some people just how capable that vehicle would be. And that about does it for my review of the 2023 Grand Wagoneer Series 3 and the Hurricane engine. What an amazing punchy engine. Yes, I realize, guys, it does suck that the Hemis are going away. You've seen all my content about that. But it is a little bit of a silver lining knowing just how capable this engine is. And mind you, this is a watered down version of this, and being able to make over 1,000 horsepower or something like this, being fully built, how tunable it's going to be. I mean, there are a lot of upsides to this particular thing as well. So I'm going to try and kind of look at this with a glass half full type attitude. Let me know what you guys think about the Hurricane engine in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.